Alright, hey everybody. Sorry I'm a few minutes late. Some stuff came up right as I was about to start the stream, but it's all taken care of now. Okay, let's switch it over. So I hope everybody's Thursday has been going pretty well. Not too bad for me. So today we're going to finish up the timers on the server and then deal with all these error handling. And I have a feeling that we'll probably move this down to the to-do for later, because I want to move on to mod loading. That should go before the scripts actually. Okay. So let's see. Let's turn down this music up a little bit. Alright, so I'm just trying to get a handle on where I stopped yesterday. I saw that in the server controller I need to create this class, so I think I'll do that right now. Okay, so does this already take care of times out? Yeah, on timeout. Then advance the phase. Okay, so okay, yeah, this just if something hadn't sent a key, then we just ignore it. What about is anything else to take care of this yet? So basically how it would work, I think. Let's see. Is if we're in any other phase and we get the timeout. Then I think that we would move to what phase would the server be in? I guess the lobby. I think that's what we'll do for now. Okay, so where is it that actually... because this phase only advances to other play phases, but where is it that would like cycle back around? I guess check broadcast. Where's the pre-sync callback? That's what I'm trying to find. Alright. Accept actions, status. Okay, end play phase. This is what I was looking for. Okay, so actually we'll move that into there. Okay, let's move this down. So I guess for now we'll just move it to the results phase, I think. So if type equals play error and main phase state is the server phase play. And the main phase will become results. Okay. So I did that, and that's what I just did. Okay, so now I need to do client side. Okay, for right now, maybe I should think ahead and add the timeout phases to this broadcaster. I know we'll need to do the error message, so I think I'll go ahead and do that. Oh, this is the connection, so yeah, this is one I wanted, just the generic broadcaster. Okay, so s dot error. And then s dot timeout, or not dot underscore. Oh, I do not want to rename. Where's the generate method? There we go. I'll move these down to just keep the same order. So that should be good, I think. Okay, so here we have an error message. Well, basically I can kinda just copy and paste this. And then this one will have a timeout message. Okay, and then I need to create new beluga messages here for each. Okay, and this will be error broadcast and timeout broadcast. Okay, and let's not capitalize wrong. Missed one type right here, and then we just copy these over and finally generate these enumeration members. Okay. Alright, so now I think we're all set here. Oh, except I need to change these variable names. So now something just needs to register to these. So let's see. Map, play. So I guess I need to create a separate timeout. Or maybe could just the error check deal with it? No, probably shouldn't. Although it'll work kind of the same, because if we get timeout in the error phase, we would just set this error value to true. Probably would not be a good idea, actually. Okay, I think what I'll do for now. Okay, we already have this error. Do I actually use it for anything though? Okay, on error, let's see. Okay, so I guess I'll need to make another that's like on timeout. Because we can't use that same error thing because we don't want the error status to actually send to the server. Although I guess it wouldn't really make that much difference, but maybe just use the timeout message here. And then we wouldn't have to create a separate class just for the timeout. I think that might work actually. So this will be controller, game, components. Oh yeah, we need to create a subscribe cleaner. So controller, activatable list, add new listener, janitor, and this is an iListener. That's gonna have to use the networking classes. I know, probably a better idea just to abstract it away. Okay, so this would be on timeout error. We can actually just use the same thing, I think. Oh, except it wouldn't be a bool, so. To do the whole thing. That's all I wanted to do. Okay, so let's move this down here. And basically I want to extract this method. Set error state. Okay, and then we'll just set error state here. Okay, so that's fine. And then let's create the error, or the timeout handler, I guess. On key. Okay, so public timeout manager. Okay, so what this will do really. Okay, let's clean this up. I'll get this message broadcaster just so I can copy and paste. Okay, so it's not gonna work because I don't have these namespaces yet, but not to difficult to change. Okay, and again we're gonna have to use the cleanup. Okay, so new listener, janitor. Can't type it. And it's an I listener. Time out. Message. Okay, and the first argument is the subscribable, which is what we actually get from the components, and then next is the simple listener. Okay, so on, time out, received. Okay, so that's all the parentheses we need, and then I'll just generate this method. So we will need the state machine, the match state, and also the turn state. Yeah, I think that's all. Okay, so let's get flow manager back so I can copy and paste again. I guess I should call it the match phase and the turn phase. Okay, so basically what we have to do here is if message type, I guess let's just do a switch. So if it's play choice, then if turn phase equals int choice, wait, so do I, so I don't actually need the whole choice because during the choice check, timeout would actually be an error, so I don't know if I actually need the turn phase. I think I need the choice phase. Choice sub phase. Let's see. So messing around with my playlists. Okay, state machine. Okay, so this is a choice subphase, and again, let's use the create function. So what we have to do here actually is we need to switch again. So choice, subphase. Okay, so yeah, we'll only accept this timeout if we're in the start wait, which wouldn't really make much sense, but we'll go with it. And options. I think that's it. Okay, and I just realized something actually. Play accept actions manager. Let's see, this very check type actually goes for both the choice actions calculation and end of turn actions calculation. But we actually only care about this if we're in the choice actions, not the end of turn, because the end of turn has no input. Yeah, so let's fix that real quick. So let's see, are those all the phases? Oh, I think, yeah, there's the submit, I think. And then after it submits, it would switch to the check. Okay, so anyway, if this is all true, you're gonna need to have another message, I think. Let's look at the choice phase manager and see what we would do. So basically I would want to skip ahead to on actions chosen. Oh no, it would skip that. It would skip to this part where you just go to request all actions. So we're basically like skipping ahead here. Okay, so let's see what we would do here. Components, get it all register, get message, int, play comps. So it'll be choice timeout. Subscribe, new, simple, listener. So on, time, out. Okay, so let's, oh, I don't want to change the signature, I want to create this method. I guess I'd move it down to like right here. Okay, so we do another switch like this, just to make sure everything is still consistent. Except we wouldn't want that, we'd want choice. Oh, it's a turn phase. Well, that's still fine, but we also need to check switch choice subphase choice phase state, and if it is start wait option and submit choices, then we skip ahead to request all actions. And I think just by doing that, it will clean up any other problems, so I think we're good there. Ooh, I don't like this song. Alright. Okay, so now on the timeout manager we got to actually send those two messages that we just subscribed to. So private message on choice timeout, and then private message on error. On arrow, let's copy that. And I think I called it timeout error. Okay, Okay, so we already did this, so we just gotta call this message now. Okay, and the other option is if we're in the play error. I also need to switch if turn phase state equals int turn phase, again because we only want to do this during the choice and not the end of turn actions. Okay, we'll accept this play error pretty much at any time, so I need to move the break out of the if. I think we'd only we'll only accept this error if the match phase state is during the turns, or whatever I call them. Yeah, turns. Okay, so then we call on error send. Okay, so I think that's all. So let's see. Play sub-controller is what I'm looking for here. Now I just gotta add the timeout manager. Alright, so there's lots of test parameters, so I don't really know why. Okay, so how long did I give timeout? Over here. Okay, so 20 seconds. Let's lower it to 5 seconds just so we can test it. And here I'll go ahead and print a message. I guess we don't really need to because we'll see when it's sent, but we should probably create a toString. String format. Okay, so the timeout and the type is all we have to send. A little quieter. There we go. Okay, so now all that's left to do is test it. So I'm just going to wait here and see if it gives us a timeout. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's definitely been 5 seconds, so something is not working. Okay, so phase state does not equal 0. This is the phase, yeah, it's the play phase, so this basically means are we in the play phase? I think. Does not equal server play phase none. Should be 0, so, and then not any disconnected. Let's do this to make it a little clearer. Hi, Dr. Karadinizil. Neasley. I think I pronounced that right. Thanks for stopping by. What is the game about? It's going to be, imagine like Pokemon battles, but then on like a Fire Emblem board. That's kind of what I'm going for. And of course it'll have online multiplayer, and you'll be able to mod in your own creatures. But we're still very early right now. Well, see, we still have really rough graphics, but you can move the characters around, and it does. So you can do turns, but actually the only thing the monsters can do is move right now. Okay, so well, that all works, which is good, but I'm not sure why the timer is not ticking. So Unity, engine, debug, log, so server, timer, active is, and then we'll just add ticking helper dot active and see what that prints out. How's life in America? Well, not too bad. Today is actually, it's unseasonably cool where I am, so I'm pretty happy about that. How are you doing? Server already. I'm waiting. I don't see it. Of course, there's all these different messages. Let's get rid of these ready check ones because they're clogging up the debug log, and the ready checks are all working fine now. Let's see, number of client slots. Every once in a while it's good to go through and decide which of these debug logs you actually need. Okay, so there's the server timer active to false. The collapse, can we see if that happened more than once? Okay, so we can see that each message is unique, so no. Which is kind of strange. Because we see that the play phase changes here. Oh, and then the timer does change right afterwards, but it still says false. Maybe am I doing this wrong? Oh yes, because see, this is connected also returns false for any AI players. So I need to check if, so let's actually get the client out. Client connections dot, oh, I think it's this client now. Use connections, get client. So if client connected equals false, but we also need to make sure that the client is that on how I do it? Client state. I forget what I called this. Okay, it's taken. Is that right as well? How did I code my networking? Well, Unity has a really nice library of code, but the only problem is it's really made for real-time games, like a first-person shooter or something, so I had to go a little deeper and use some of their lower-level stuff. I'm trying to find it. Okay, yeah, here. And you can, so yeah, this is where most of the connection with Unity happens. And if you make a new class and you subclass from the network manager, then you get access to all these callbacks, which are pretty self-explanatory, but let you know when you connect to something. And then to actually send messages to other clients, I use this server send message. So I can put you in the way of like their the website that I learned this from, if you want to. So I'm trying to see, I guess, so here I said to take in. Okay, so I think I have it set that if it's an AI, the slot is set to none. I'm trying to see where I do that though, just to make sure. Yeah, I think it's here. Yeah, match slots. Yeah, so if it's a player, yeah, and if it's not a player, then we just set it to none. Okay, that's what I was hoping for. So again, we only care if the client is taken, which means that there's a player connected to it. That's the only time that we actually check to see if they're connected. I think that was the problem before. Okay, so now if I wait here for 5 seconds, yeah, we can see that it, here, by all the messages that happened, you can see that it just went ahead and did another turn. But then if I pick quick enough, oh, did that not work? Okay, so there's something weird going on because it's not letting me actually have a turn now. So if I click, so active, and then, or did it actually go through the whole turn? Well, no, because it didn't move anything. Okay, so I think I need to set the timer a little longer so I can actually try and see what's going on here. Okay, so okay, we don't need this anymore, so we'll clean it up. This was just to tell me the path of the save file, so I'll clean that as well because it's all working now. Okay, so trying to look for the timeout phase, or the timeout message. Timer active true. A little before this. Okay, so we still send the action check, but it seems like it kind of ignores us. Maybe that's just because the timer was too short. Okay, so if I set it to 20 seconds, okay, yeah, so the timer just was too short. It was like not giving enough time for the server to actually register, I think. But I'm gonna wait here for 20 seconds and let it skip a turn and see if we can move after that. Ugh. Let's see here. Still hasn't gone yet. No, I know that Tamer is active. Okay, there it goes. Okay, so now if I move, yeah, it doesn't let me move after getting a timeout. Why is that? So let's look back up here. Okay, so option choice phase active, and then we choose action 1. Okay. I think it might have something to do with the code. Let's see if I can find it. So it's not this, it's the... what is it? The actions collector, I think. Because it has like a list of waiting players, and I think that this list didn't get cleared correctly. Okay, so yeah, if it's not options, then we just need to say waiting players clear. I think the AI manager has something similar. So otherwise else to cover force inactive equals true, and also waiting players clear. I'm surprised I didn't code that in the first place, but I'm pretty sure that's the problem. So now let's... 20 seconds was very long, so I'll move it on to 10. So it's got a... I'll move one time just to make sure it's working. Okay, there we go. And now I'll wait for it to time out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, there it goes. So now if I move, okay, it did work. Okay, so it's just that those lists we're leaving in, it was still expecting that it had to get input from player 1 twice, I think, or something like that, because it left in the entries from the previous turn. So if we just clear those lists, then it has a fresh start. Okay, so I think we're done. I guess the only other thing is I could have the game hang during one of the checking phases to make sure that the timer works correctly. I guess that's what I'll do now. So we'll just have it not send a ready check during the final check phase for the... Yeah, like I think this will work. So then after we send a message, the server will basically say timeout for this calculation phase, and then it should put everything into an error state. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, it's stuck on the final check. Okay, yeah, and then we got an error from the server. Yeah, because server main phase went to results, and then we got the timeout, and then the match phase switched to error. Okay, so that's all working. Yeah, we can't do anything else. Right, so let me uncomment this before I forget about it. Okay, so let's see, what else do we have here? Okay, so we did both of those. Okay, so now I just need to update the normal error handlers. Okay, so one thing I did here is instead of registering the handler directly, I need to use that broadcast message that I created a few minutes ago. Okay, so let's close all but this. And now let's copy this so we don't have to type it out again. Okay, so controller, and then again we need to be able to clean this up because we're trying to register to a global message. Okay, listener gender, and then iListener. I think it's error status message. Okay, the first argument is subscribable, and then the second argument is the listener. Error status message. Okay, on error received. Okay, one more parenthesis there. Okay, and it'll already be decoded, so we don't need that. So that's okay. Yeah, we'll accept this error at any phase. Okay, so I guess this is not up to date anymore. That's because we have all different kinds of error types. I don't even know, can most of these even happen? No references. I'm not even sure that this is needed. We pretty much just need a play error and then like a lobby error. Because before we use these error status as a type of ready check, but we've moved that out. Okay, so let's see. I'm not sure I need any of these anymore, to be honest. Okay, and then basically we'll just always return play. But we don't even need that really. So whenever we send an error in here, it will always be that play. So equals. Okay, so what happens if somebody is trying to load into the game and gets an error? Because if somebody gets an error in the play phase, then everybody needs to exit, but if somebody gets an error from loading, I don't think everyone has to exit. So maybe we'll do it this way. If message type equals play, and then if somebody has a loading error, then I don't know, we would just disconnect them and they'd have to try to load again or something. Yeah, so that's way simpler than it used to be. Okay, so what about happens to the server when it receives an error? Yeah, so it just needs to switch to the results phase. So it sends an error. And then I guess it will, we should probably create a callback so that the server, let's see, play, what do I call it? The end play phase advancer can deal with it. So get to our register error status message type. This would be error. Is that not what I called it? Oh, it's outside, okay. Alright. Oh, I didn't want to generate a method. What did I just do? Did it create that? I think it generated an error message method somewhere, but I guess it doesn't really make much difference. I'll find it eventually. Maybe it was in... yeah, right there. Alright, now we got rid of that. Okay, so this is on error. Let's spell it right. And generate method. Oh, except it's still using the timeout message. Okay, so basically the same as a timeout. If we're during the play phase and we get a play error, then we'll go to results. Else, if we're in the loading phase and we get a loading error, then we go back to the lobby. Oh, except we won't do that here because this is just for the play phase. Okay, so we can worry about loading later. Okay. And then, what do I do? Play error check. Okay, so I'll need to change this so that multiple things can use this error check. I guess I might as well do it now. Okay, so let's rename this to error message manager. Okay, so we have client connections, and we register for this. And then we'll need to have the message error status type. And I can copy this so I don't have to type it all out again. Okay, so first, I guess we'll call this on error first so that we'll update the phase before we send out the message. Okay, so message type. And then we send it back to all the clients. So I think we're done there. Okay, so yeah, we have to wait until we're connected. So let's see. So we're with error check manager. Okay, I'm going to delete these because we don't need them. And it's just taking up all space. Okay, so we can look at the choice finalizer to see how it does it, because it also sends one message. So I guess we'll need this connection phase for sure. Because that's how we'll tell when if we're connected or not. The check send message. So all we have to do is, instead of just sending the message right away on this on error set, let's see. So we have this set error because that makes sure that we don't try to send a message if we actually received the message. So I guess we don't have to do that. Well, let's change this to received error, because that means we don't need to try to send the message anymore. Okay, so if we're synchronized, well, we don't have to be synchronized with the server, we just have to be connected. Is connected and not received error and error dot value. Then we just call send message. And then once we get a message back from the server, then we'd set received error to true, and then we'd set this value to true just in case. Okay, so I guess here, there's not really any reason to duplicate that logic, so I can just put check send message and delete this. Oh, I'm gonna just put check send message up there. Okay, so now, yeah, whenever the value of error changes or we reconnect to the server, we'll try to send the error message again until we receive a reply from the server, and then we can stop. So let's test this out real quick. Okay, so this doesn't have a reference to the error. Let's find something that does. Choice. Trying to find the class that handles the the error checking for this. Okay, here, all actions error checker. So we can just set so when well, you can just, instead of saying that we're done checking, we can just set error value to true right here. And let's see if the server does handle this correctly. So we move to there. Okay, and yeah, we did get an error. Let's look up at the log to see exactly what happened. Okay, so we submit the choices, send the action list. Okay, so then the ready check is complete. Alright, and here we say that we had an error, so the match already changed, but then we actually send it to the server. Okay, and then the server switches to results and sends a message back. Okay, so I think we're all good. I guess one thing I should do. Let's see. So we should check it with a second player to make sure that it works with disconnecting. So let's do it this way. If test params current is host, then we'll do the normal way. Otherwise, we'll say error value equals true, and then here in the error check manager, oops, I wanted to move this over. Okay, so do it up here. Yeah, when we first receive the error, I want to actually disconnect. So let's see. So Unity link. Okay, well actually first let's just test to make sure it works like this. So file, build a second player. As a matter of fact, we should test timeouts on the second player as well, but I shouldn't have done that yet. I forgot I have to set this up. Okay, so the editor will be the host. And we don't need to load from a file. And then the second player will actually be a player now. Okay, so now I need to rebuild it. Luckily it goes a little faster after the first time of the day. Refused us. Oh yeah, there's that weird timing issue. Let's try it one more time. Okay, this song is a bit too intense for programming. Why is it not going through? Server message to 1. Okay, well I'm glad I tested this thing because something is messed up. Okay, there it went through. I don't know. Yeah, the loading phase is a little hacky right now, so I'm not worried about it too much. Okay, so it will move. Okay, yeah, and then both clients got an error and it exited out. Okay, so that's fine. Oh, but it's still sending a ready check. Which is a little strange. I thought it would have quit doing that. So let's look and see. Oh, that's not what I want to do. Let's clear out some of this stuff. Okay, so it was sending this ready check. refresh phase is in phase. So maybe the turn phase wasn't being set correctly when we went to the error. Okay, yeah, it looks like there's not any real... I thought that if I set the match phase as something besides turn, then the turn phase would automatically change. Looks like I don't actually do that. I guess there's not really a reason because the match and turn, because this flow manager should be the only thing that actually changes either, so just gotta remember to do that. Okay, so let's try one more time and make sure that the ready checks stop. Right, so if I move there, then we got an error. Okay, no ready checks. Okay, that's good. So now I got to, let's see, yeah, right here. Instead of sending the message, we'll actually just UD link force stop client. I guess I can comment that out. So now I'll rebuild the second player. So now what happened is when the second player gets the error, it will close the client. Oh, one thing I do have to do actually is, this should only happen if the error is true. Okay, so yeah, I need to rebuild it again just to fix that. But what'll happen is there'll be an error. The second player will disconnect, and then the game should have to wait until the game is connected again to send the message. Oh wait, we don't want to start that yet. All right. Okay, let's move there and there. Yes, now I got disconnected, and then when I reconnected, did it work? Okay, yeah, so the error right there. Oh, okay, so something funny is happening, yeah. So now, once the editor received the error, then this ran, and this was true, and so it closed the client. I didn't even know that could happen, because the host client is like so tightly tied to the server. So just to make sure that everything is actually working. So current is host. And I don't have to recompile just for that, I don't think. Is it still disconnecting me? Oh. Okay. Yeah, this host equals false. So one more time. Okay, yeah, that time it worked. And then when the second player reconnected, it sent the error message, which propagated back to this client. Alright, so perfect. So now let's clean this up. And here, okay, so I guess I'll check timeouts with a second player. So let's lower the timeout length again to 10 seconds. Alright, I guess we gotta play the editor, so hopefully we won't have that strange bug. So it loads me in, and then I'll just move here, but then the second player won't do anything. Okay, yeah, and then we got timeout, and so the second player didn't move, but the first player did, so that's exactly what we wanted to happen. So I'm just going to make sure that it will let us both move now, and it does. Okay, perfect. Is everything right here? Yeah. And I think that's about it. I'm glad we... That's basically all the netcode for the play scene. I know that there will be some other, but I mean, we got the skeleton and support structure down, so I think the game is ready to have content added on top of it, finally. Alright, so next up, we'll start on mod loading, which will allow us to finally have some nice graphics. Well, relatively nice. They could potentially be really good, but I don't know how long we'll be able to spend on them right now. So let's go ahead and change this back to just another AI. And we'll actually be able to... We already have Moon Sharp, which we'll use for our Lua scripts. And I'm actually going to be able to use basically the same loading system that I did in Moddable Chess, I think. Okay, but first of all, how do I want to do the mod files? Because they shouldn't be inside this game logic, because it is, the game logic is only scripts that will be available to the actual game and not the mod editor that will distribute for mod creators. Okay, so I already have this mod data. I think I'll just rename it mods. Okay, and I have to create some file in it so that it'll actually show up in Visual Studio. Let's see, and now the mods is right here. So we'll create our actual first file here. be, I guess, like the table of contents. So it'll be tactical wizard. It'll actually be its own namespace because it's basically going to be a completely different project. Okay, so I guess I can show how we did the mods in the other game. Let's open up a new window. Trying to find it. Okay, so in the streaming assets folder, which we'll go ahead and build here. The streaming assets is a nice folder that Unity has that is basically for any asset that you'll load in your game through code, but it will also be distributed with your game, so you can have like default mods and stuff in here. So we'll create a mods folder. And the structure of the mod will be the mod name. So actually, this game is a bit more complicated, but maybe we'll just still have it all in one folder. So what do we want to call this? It'll be just like our default mod. I guess we could just call it testing. It'd be kind of boring. So you have this folder, and then inside you have a table of contents class. Which should have the same name as the folder, and that's how the game knows how to find it. And table of contents would end with TOC. And obviously it's empty right now, but it'll actually be an XML file that will have serialized from this class. So let's go ahead and add. So basically the table of contents will have a lot of like metadata about the mod for the lobby to display. So yeah, name, oops, that's not what I wanted. Public string name, and then public string display name. And then we'll also want a display version. Probably version, and this will be important because when we try to synchronize our mods with other players, we'll want to try to make sure that they have the same version, because the game basically expects for the mods to all work the same. Let's see. Kind of, I'd really like to be able to specify like I am getting ahead of myself right now, but I'm thinking in the lobby that you'll be able to transfer a small image, like a thumbnail. I guess what's called thumbnail. And then there'll be a description, but this is just thinking ahead. So this is all for the lobby. We should also have a string for the mod type, because if you remember way back when we did the design document, there's basically 3 types of mods that will be in the game. the framework mod, which kind of describes, like, it'll have most of the scripts that describe how the gameplay actually works, and then there'll be content mods which will add monsters and maps. So I guess there's two types. I was thinking the third type would actually be map, but the content mod would actually add that. So that's why we need this mod type. And then we'll have something like, well, basically all the scripts that we want to load. And then we'd have like monster files, but I'm not quite ready to think about how that will be handled yet. Okay, so okay. And we're not going to worry about the lobby right now, so basically, where's the test params? Right here we have public string, the framework mod, and also any content mods. We'll just specify them here instead of in the real lobby. You'd be able to choose them there, but and then where's the lobby parameters? I thought they'd be right here. Oh, it's in the data. That's fine. Okay, so got the save file, and then we'll also have the framework, and it doesn't really make much difference, but I guess we'll go with a list of content mods that we'll want to load all those up. And yeah, if we're loading from a save file, these would have actually come out of the save file. So I guess I can go ahead and add them to that, just to think ahead. Okay, so yeah, we're done with that for now. So the main thing is the asset loading controller. Since we're going to make this more complicated, we're going to need to, I think, split out all this code into how it's actually going to be done, because right now it's super messy. But first of all, let's actually get to the mod loading. So it'll be mod loader. Yeah, I guess this is fine. Okay, so again, I think I can reuse some of the code from the moddable chess game. So let's see, where did I put it? Yeah, this is what I'm looking for. It'll be slightly different. But I'll just pop it all in here. We don't need this yet. Okay, So this will actually be in the tacticals or Tamer, game logic, loading. And this won't be a mono behavior, there's no reason for that. Okay, so we have this mod loader exception, which we probably will still use, but I'll probably put it in its own file. I guess I might as well do that now. So that's taken care of. Get rid of that. Is it still complaining? Cannot be declared as private protected. Oh yeah, we don't need that to be private. Actually, we can just leave it like that. Okay, and so yeah, we'll also reuse these loaders. The table of contents. So we'll need to get Tamer mod. Not sure if we'll use this state, but I'll leave it for now. So let's go ahead and just copy over some files. Okay, so where am I looking? Scripts, game logic, loading. Okay, yeah, the XML loader, the table of contents loader, Lua loader, asset loader, and asset bundle loader. Oh, we gotta go into Unity first. There's gonna be a ton of errors, but that's okay. And then when I load back in here, it'll ask me to reload, and then those new files will show up. Okay, so if you're not familiar with how I did it in Moddable Chess, basically, logic. Oops. We use these asset bundles, which Unity lets you. So, for instance, we wanted to put our test hexagon, actually being prefab set right here, our test models into an asset bundle. You can go down here and create a new one, and then you can build asset bundles, and that lets you basically have a separate file of a bunch of Unity ready objects that Unity can just load at any time. And it's really nice because it will allow mod creators to add scripts that we provide and do like particles and all kinds of stuff to their monsters, and we don't really have to worry about trying to support it ourselves. And so that's how mods will be able to import models, images, sounds into the game. Some other mod files will be XML files like the table of contents, and then the Lua loader is how we'll do scripts for like game logic in the mods. Okay, so this basically worked perfect. I don't think there's much to change here. We just got to put in the right namespace for all of them. Lua loader. Okay, the script controller we haven't created yet. I'm not sure exactly why we need it, to be honest. Oh, because we use that to read the file. Okay, well, I don't know. We'll get back to that. We're not going to do Lua right at this point anyway. So I'll comment this out for now. And then finally XML. good. And table of contents. Table of contents is basically okay, I know why it does this. Table of contents is really just going to be an XML, but this file provides us with a little bit of error checking to make sure there's not bad values in the table of contents. This song's a bit loud. And also needs to be separate because we'll have to load the table of contents both in the lobby and in the loading scene. So I guess yeah, we can go ahead and do this a little bit, but it will actually need to be just in the game logic because it's going to be used by two different scenes. Okay, and we already have a bunch of exceptions here, so that's nice. This can be a struct. Oh, why is this a mono behavior? That doesn't make any sense. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so yeah, we have this load request component. Yeah, which is this query. That's good. But we can do this differently. Okay, so this will just be Tactical Wizard Tamer game. And this will be a global component, so function equals game components get or register. The query with table of contents load result. Okay, now we just pass the string of the actual mod to load. Okay, then int global components. Okay, so table of contents loader. And then we just got to pass the create function. Dot handler equals load table of contents. Okay, so let's just create this enumeration. Alright, and we gotta get rid of the void there. So it'll be an actual constructor. I don't know what's wrong with this. Cannot convert. System function string to oh, did I do this backwards? No, I did it right because the return is supposed to be the table of contents load result, and the argument is a string. System function string. Oh. Yeah, we don't even need to have a reference to the query. Okay, so we don't have this anymore. That's because it was a mono behavior for some reason. hi Chocofix, good to see you again. How are you doing today? Okay, so we used to have a different author, but I think that the author could just go in the display name or the description. I don't know, I think it is pretty important to have the author in there, so I guess I'll go ahead and keep it. And maybe we could have like a string download link or something. It's a folder. Okay, yeah, so because of the way the table of contents work, we just pass the mod folder. Okay, so then it tries to serialize it here. And then it does a little bit of validation, which is fine. Alright, so I think that's good. Okay, so back to the mod loader. Again, we're not doing Lua scripts just yet. So what do we need this for? Oh, I guess it lets you load in scripts into the environment, so it is kind of important, but... So maybe I'd hate to just delete the code if we're just going to have to re-add it in. This will be, I don't know, Lua environment. I'll just kind of leave this empty for now. Okay, so the Lua loader will have that. Okay, and basically I think the point of this class is just that it holds all the functions and things that the game loads so that we can call them later. And we'll go ahead and just generate a dummy method there for now. Alright, and then also back here. Okay, rename that, of course. Okay, so this mod loader for now, I mean, in the Modable Chess game we only loaded one mod. But now we have to load a bunch of different ones. And I'm not sure if every mod should... Well, I guess all the mods should kind of be in the same environment so that they can communicate with one another. So probably, yeah, we'll just use this public load mod to load a specific one. So yeah, I think that's how I'll do it. we want to create a new Lua environment? Probably a good idea. So scripts. And then at some point, well, we might not put this Lua environment right here, but we might actually put it in the game data. I guess I'll worry about that when the time comes. So here we were going to have a query to load a mod, which I guess is a good idea. Okay, so this be actually in the asset loading controller. So controller, I guess we can kind of copy this. Components, get our register, and this will be, okay, we don't actually have this yet, so let's go ahead and create it. It's just an enumeration. And the first, so this will be yeah, load mod. Where is it? Right here. Okay, there we go. It's all set up now. Alright, so this will work a little different, but it allowed us to clean up everything. Scripts dot dispose. Well, actually, this didn't like dispose everything. It disposes of the loader, but not delete the things we loaded. Because this is called after like everything has been loaded and we've transferred it all to something else. So let's call this, I guess, clean up. I'm not sure when I'll call this yet, but I'll leave the code there. Okay, yeah, so if there's ever an error, then so we don't have to do it like that. We can actually just get private message string. Why don't we just send the mod load exception actually? Okay, so the load exception equals components. Oops. Just copy and paste that to speed things up a little bit. Gosh, I can't type. And this is a message. Alright. Okay, we've got about 15 minutes left, so let's see how much of this we can get through. I don't really have to call this for now. We'll see about it in the future. Okay, gosh, I was quite lazy with this class actually. So I need to get private query table of contents, or what is it? table of contents load result. Okay, so we'll grab this and this type. And this is actually in the game components. And it's global comps, table of contents loader. Okay, so now we can just call, I guess we can leave that send there, but it'd just be table of contents or load table of contents send. Okay. So I wonder if we, I guess it doesn't really matter the type, we can just do the string. Okay, so this was load Lua stuff, but we don't need that right now. Okay, so this was to load a specific asset. This kind of thing is mostly specific to the moddable chess game, so don't need to create it all. Okay, so here we just load exception send, and then we just send the actual exception. Okay, so here is the part we do need to update, because it's going to load a specific asset. Okay, so here is the mod path, which is like the path, this folder, and then the asset path is basically the name of the asset in the mod. And then here's just like an exception name for debugging. Oh, you're trying to model in Blender, Chocopix? Yeah, I need to brush up on my modeling skills pretty soon. I have a feeling in the next week or so I'm going to try to make a model for this game. Okay, so if the asset path is empty, yes, that would be a problem. Okay, so here how we did it was that assets were given and so it'd be the bundle name slash asset name, and then you could have any number of file paths beforehand. So that's why we need to find the last asset, the last slash, and we know that this part is the bundle and then this part's the asset. And that's what this code does right here. Okay. Oh, yeah. And then we need to, so then we start this bundle loader. Well, first we have to make sure that we don't already contain this asset. Or we haven't already tried to load it, because table of contents could, like, say two different monsters maybe share the same asset for, I don't know, some projectile or something. Then you wouldn't want to load it twice. So that's what this does. It makes sure that the asset hasn't been loaded already. We can do that to make it a little clearer. Same here. And then it loads a new bundle if the bundle has not been starting loading already. So this is all good basically. Okay, so load XML works pretty much the same, except it's a little simpler because we just load the XML outright. Okay, and then Lua. Most of the time, like if we're trying to load a specific function in Lua, then it would work kind of like here, except you put a dot at the end, so it's file path, Lua file name, and then the Lua function name, except it's a dot right here. So that's why I try to find the dot. And then if you don't include this, then we just figure out this file itself is the function that you want to call. And in order to signify that, I just put the function name as a dot, which means the whole file. Okay, just looking, that looks fine. Okay, now here is update, but actually we tick now. Okay, so now I know we need to load into iTicking. I'm going to go ahead and add that now. It's private ticking helper. Oh, janitor is what I called it. So controller game, and then this. Okay, and oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Tick helper force inactive is true, and then we'll basically become active here. And then once everything's done loading, we need to inactivate again, or deactivate. Okay, so then down here, so the state was, do I still need that though? I don't think so. Oh yeah, and it's gonna want me to implement. I'll just call false for now. I think that's asking me if I want to dispose the actual object, which we only want to do if, so let's say bool dispose assets, and then if dispose assets, then we'd also want to dispose a script object. Okay. So we know that this will only be ticking if we are actually active. And this will look through all the asset loaders and see if they're done. Okay, and then it does some other stuff here. Yeah, we have this loaded mod. So let's create something like that, except what do we call it? I guess we can actually call it loaded assets. And this will basically just contain everything that we've loaded. It won't be sorted or really made any sense of, but so we have the table of contents, and I'm not sure what else is in there. Let's clean this up a little bit. Okay, I'll close that for now. So load exception. Okay, so this is loaded assets. Okay, so assets XML and Lua functions. So let's do that. I guess we'll also have the Lua environment. Okay, so public. What was the string object, and then string object and string closure for the functions. Assets. XML objects. Funcs. So they spell out functions. Yeah, I did, so I guess I'll leave it. Okay, so first we cycle through the asset cache and we make sure everything loaded correctly there. So if there was some kind of error, then we be more descriptive. Okay, so this is XML, it's pretty simple. And then here is the Lua. Okay, so if it goes through the function, and then it just tries to load the function from the scripts. And again, if the function name is dot, that means then we actually use the return name as the function. Otherwise, we use the specific function. And if for some reason the Lua didn't load, then we have all these exceptions. Oh, we don't need that. Let's return 0. Okay. So that's pretty much all done. Oh, there's some. So what's it complaining about? It's not implement tick float. Oh, because it's not public. That's easy to fix. Okay, I see we have some gray. Let's look. Alt enter. Okay, clean that up. And then there's another one up here. Oh yeah, I think it's gonna just want me to put active, or force an active true like that. It's fine. Okay, so the next thing we have to do is a really big part of it is we have to take all these assets that we've loaded and put them into the game data. Basically, we need to organize all the assets. So let's. In the other game, we called that the mod translator, which I guess still makes sense. So I'll just go ahead and create the class for this. I don't think we'll have any time to actually do anything, but. So this is the loading, or load assets controller. What would they call it? I guess assets load controller. Yeah, there we go. Okay, and then one thing I did here is I need to get that message to say basically we're done. Guess we'll have a subscribable value, should be loaded assets. Something like that. Oh, it needs to be object, maybe? Yeah, subscribable value is for structures. Okay, so loaded equals controller, game, components, get or register. Okay, so int loading components, loaded assets. Okay, so let's put this down. Okay, so loaded value equals null. I guess we should put this pretty much at the end, or whenever we're asked to load a mod, that we put loaded value equals null, because if we have to load a new mod, then it's no longer valid. Yeah, we should probably do a little bit of state management here, because after we've already loaded all the mods, it would create a new loaded asset, so we have to make sure that once all the mods are done loading, that we're not asked to load anything else. So let's do it this way. If loaded dot value not equal null, then we'll just throw an exception because this shouldn't ever happen. Cannot load additional mods once after loading is complete. That's because it won't compile all the mods together correctly. Let's see, so all I really have to do is say loaded.value equals compile assets, and I don't need to do that message, I don't think. Okay, so now we're just ready to do the mod translator, which will be a kind of big project, but I think it'll just take a day or two. And so tomorrow we're going to do a small, our single stream tutorial, which I'll cover some topic just in our normal 2-hour stream. I have a couple ideas in mind, but I don't want to say yet in case I think of something better, so stay tuned for that. And again, thanks everybody for watching, chatting, and just coming by. I do really appreciate it. So the stream tomorrow will start at 10 Eastern. And if you did miss any of this stream and you want to catch up, you can check out my YouTube channel down below. Again, thanks everybody for coming by. Oh, bye bye, Chocopix. Alright, hope to see you soon. Bye bye.